Hey everybody, Ben here from DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios, and this is everything you need to know about oil paints in less than 7 minutes. Oils are a traditional painting medium that are used for slow drying techniques, things like plein air painting, portraits, and glazing techniques. If you're somebody who's into a relaxed painting experience, you're going to be into oils. So what are oils really? Much like in the Everything You Need to Know About Acrylic video, I talked about how paint is a pigment and a binder. With acrylics, it's a pigment and an acrylic polymer binder. With oils, it's an oil binder and a pigment. Most common types of oil paints will use a linseed oil for their oil binder. However, there's also companies that will use walnut oil or alkyd oil because linseed oil is a little bit yellow. Additionally, some paint manufacturers may want to use something like a stabilizer to keep the paint from cracking over time, although some cracking will still occur, as well as some separation in the paint. This tube, for example, it's doing pretty good, nothing really coming out the top. This one, a little bit of leakage. Although it should be noted that regardless of the stabilizers, a little bit of seeping of the paint and separation as well as some cracking of the overall paint surface can occur over time. So if you think, okay, there's separation, there's cracking, why do artists even use oils? The truth is, the blendability of oils are really their best quality. Oils first started coming into popularity at the time of the Italian Renaissance, when artists could achieve a lot more detail in their work as they could with something like the traditional egg tempera, which they really couldn't. However, prior to the 1800s, oil paints still weren't the most popular paint medium. It wasn't until the metal paint tube was invented, which allowed artists a relaxed painting experience anywhere they go, and really allowed for artists to travel and go out and paint on the go. Something like the Hudson River painters who used to go out and paint in their environment. Before the invention of the paint tube, there really wasn't any practical way for artists to take their paint from the studio out into their environment. So now that we've talked about the paint, let's talk about the brushes. If you're using oils, the best choice is going to be natural hair bristles. Brushes with stiff bristles will be great for larger areas, while more soft bristles will be even better for adding detail. Additionally, painting with a knife, also called impasto painting, is a very popular technique with oils. When you're talking about what to paint on, most artists are going to tell you, yeah, traditional cotton duck canvas, both for students and professionals, is a pretty good way to go. If you're looking for an alternative to canvas, possibly something with an even higher quality than traditional cotton duck, you might want to take a look at linen. Stretched linen is sold usually near your canvas if your art store carries it. And in addition to a traditional smooth surface, it also has some coarse and rough varieties that can be great for more advanced techniques, especially with oil or acrylic paint. If you want to stay away from the primed stretchiness that canvas has, you can also look at a primed wood panel, which can be a great option for oil painters. Now, if you're not thinking about something like canvas or wood, you might want to start thinking about maybe an alternative support, like paper. Because oils are designed to be applied in thinner layers, paper can be a really great support just to do really kind of intricate detail work, as well as creating something with really bright, vibrant colors. In previous years, I used a technique using water mixable oils and a Kleenex applying to paper, creating sort of a thin layer of bright, vibrant color. And if you're looking to paint on something very non-traditional, like a metal, like copper or aluminum, oils are really great at doing this, actually more so than acrylics. So if you're looking to paint on metal and you have acrylics, you actually might want to pick up some oils because oils are going to adhere more properly to that surface, without all kind of crazy prep work, of course. Now, oils already dry pretty slow, but if you want to slow that process down even more and thin out your paint, you might want to look at something like linseed oil. Or if you're moving from acrylics to oils, you might want to look at some liquid, which actually speeds up the drying time. Additionally, some brush or spray-based varnishes when you finish a painting will really make that piece pop. But before you even start that painting, you might want to look at some sizing, which is a resin-based glue designed to help the oil paint adhere to the canvas. And when it comes to cleaning up your brushes, you're going to want some turpentine, which is a fairly smelly chemical. If you're looking for something a little bit odorless or less odor-filled, you might want to look at turpenoid. But much like any other painting medium, oils have advantages and disadvantages when it comes to working with them. Oils dry very slowly, especially in very thick applications, which can be great for a relaxed painting experience. You also have the flexibility with oils to buy the oil medium itself and the pigment and just make your own paint. And many artists will actually say that oil paintings have a much richer, deeper, and more intricate look to them. However, some of the disadvantages are that oils dry very slowly, which for some may be an advantage, for some, like me, might be a disadvantage. I'm so used to working with acrylics that the idea of waiting days for my paint to dry just doesn't feel right. Additionally, oils can be a little bit tricky and difficult to clean up because it can take a little bit more soap or a little bit of chemical like a turpentine or topenoid to just clean that pigment and paint out of your brush. Additionally, you can have a slightly more toxic working environment depending on the chemicals you use as well as the colors you use, something like cadmiums or cobalts in the pigments. Granted, the pigment toxicity is roughly about the same with acrylic paints, but if you're mixing your own paints, you're going to need like a respirator and just got to be really careful with it. So coming from an acrylic painter and someone who just said that paints are toxic, what? Why should I even try oils? Well, if you're looking for a slightly less toxic working environment, you can 1. Try acrylics, or 2. Use water mixable oils, which again create a less toxic working environment, but if you talk to oil painters, they're like, it's just not the same. And besides, if you're looking for a relaxed painting experience, I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, acrylics just dry way too quickly. I mean, I apply it and it's dry and that's it. If that's not something you like, seriously, try oils. So then of course there's the question of brand. If you are looking at a student grade paint, you might want to take a look at a few of these. Or if you're a slightly more experienced oil painter looking for a artist grade paint, a few of these might help you out. So if you're looking to buy oil paints and you're looking at where to buy them, 1, I suggest online or in a local art store, and if you don't know where that is for you, for English-speaking countries, I've listed some options in the description box below. And of course, by this time in the video, you might be saying, wait a minute, Ben, you're an acrylic painter, you know nothing about oils. You're right, I don't. I actually want to thank Thad from Thad Taylor Art here on YouTube for helping me write this video, because I seriously could not have done this without him. Thad's got some great artwork, both landscape and studies and all kind of really cool things. They're both inspired by his past into sort of like this graffiti street art, and that has really influenced his art today. So if you're not subscribed to his channel, go check it out over here. And for more art videos here on this channel, subscribe. And this has been from DMC Films and Cinderblog Studios. See you guys next time.